Its CEO Tony Hayward described the amount of oil, dispersant and other substances as relatively small, in comparison to the very large ocean. He later drew criticism for saying that the spill had caused a disruption in Gulf Coast residents' lives and his own, adding, you would like your life back." Doug Suttles, BP's chief operational officer, contradicted any discussion of an underwater plume by saying that, "It may depend on how you define a plume here. The oil found is very small quantities." BP began a public relations campaign in June and bid on several search terms related to the spill. The first sponsored result was BP's company website. The 26th of July 2010 saw the announcement that Tony Hayward, CEO of BP, would resign. He was replaced by Bob Dudley, who was an American citizen. Hayward has become a controversial figure in the public eye because of his involvement with Deepwater Horizon. Hayward was recognized as a distinguished leader by the University of Birmingham in May 2013. However, the ceremony was interrupted on several occasions by jeers and walking outs. People and Planet also protested. Hayward received an honorary doctorate from Robert Gordon University in July 2013. Friends of the Earth Scotland called this a sick prank and a very serious mistake of judgment. The president of the student body said that students would be very disappointed. International reactions. The United States government has rejected cleanup offers from Canada, Croatia, France, Germany, Ireland, Mexico, the Netherlands, Norway, Romania, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, the United Kingdom and the United Nations. The U.S. State Department initially rejected 70 offers of assistance from 23 countries. Later, however, 8 were accepted. The USCG actively sought skimming equipment and boats from various countries. Legal aspects and settlements. Investigations. Deepwater Horizon investigation. The Deepwater Horizon investigation in the United States included investigations and commissions including reports from the USCG National Incident Command, Admiral Thad Alley, the National Commission for the BP Deepwater Horizon Oil Spill and Offshore Drilling, NCBP. Also from Bureau of Ocean Energy Management Regulation and Enforcement, National Academy of Engineering, National Research Council, Government Accountability Office, National Oil Spill Commission and Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board. The Republic of the Marshall Islands Maritime Administrator carried out a separate investigation into the marine accident. BP conducted an internal investigation. The USCG and Minerals Management Service launched an investigation into the possible causes of explosion on the 22nd of April 2010. The United States administration asked the National Academy of Engineering to conduct an independent investigation on the 11th of May. On the 22nd of May, the National Commission on the BP Deepwater Horizon Oil Spill and Offshore Drilling, NCBP, was created to consider the causes of the disaster as well as offer options on safety and environmental precautions. On the 1st of June 2010, the United States Attorney General Eric Holder announced his investigation. The U.S. House Committee on Energy and Commerce also held a series of hearings. These included hearings with Tony Hayward and the heads of Anadarko and Mitsui's exploration unit. According to the U.S. congressional investigation, the rig's blowout prevention device, built by Cameron International Corporation, had a hydraulic leak and a faulty battery. BP published a 193-page report on its website on the 8th of September 2010. The report blames BP, but also Halliburton and Transocean for some of the accident. The report concluded that managers misread the pressure data on the 20th of April 2010 and approved workers replacing drilling fluid with seawater. This was not heavy enough for gas that had leaked into the well to fire up the pipe leading to the rig, causing an explosion. Transocean and BP, who owned the rig, were both found to be partially responsible. Transocean, Halliburton and Transocean responded to the report by blaming BP for all of its faults. A report from the Oil Spill Commission on the 9th of November 2010 stated that the well had been completed in a hurry and criticized bad management decisions. The co-chair stated that there was no culture of safety at the rig. On the 5th of January 2011, the National Commission on BP Deepwater Horizon Oil Spill and Offshore Drilling published its final report. The panel concluded that BP, Halliburton and Transocean were trying to save money, and this led to the explosion and subsequent leakage. According to the report, whether deliberate or not, many decisions made by BP, Halliburton and Transocean that increased the Macondo blowout risk clearly saved these companies significant time, and even money. BP responded with a press release, stating that, even before the conclusion of the investigation by the Commission, BP implemented significant changes to further enhance safety and risk management. Transocean blamed BP, but also government officials, for allowing the decision to be made before the explosion. Halliburton claimed that it acted only on orders from BP when injecting cement into the wall. The report criticized BP's failure to conduct a cement log test. In the report, BP is accused of 9 mistakes. It was found that BP had failed to use a diagnostic tool for testing the strength of cement. One was for ignoring the results of a failed pressure test. Another was not securing the pipe with cement. However, the study did not place blame on one of these incidents. The study concluded that, despite these inherent risks, this accident was avoidable. It also stated, it resulted in clear mistakes made by BP, Halliburton, Transocean and government officials, who relied too heavily on the industry's assurances about the safety of its operations and failed to create and implement a regulatory oversight program that would have appropriately minimized the risk associated with deepwater drilling. The panel noted that government regulators lacked the knowledge and authority to detect these cost-cutting measures. The USCG and BOEMRE published on 23 March 2011 a report prepared by Det Norske Veritas, a forensic investigation of the blowout prevention device. The report concluded that a section of drill pipe buckled between the shearing block and blind shear rams, which caused the rams to fail to seal. In a report released by the US government in September 2011, it was stated that BP had the ultimate responsibility for the spill and that Halliburton, Transocean and others shared some of the blame. Halliburton was cited as the primary cause of the accident, but Halliburton and BP were also responsible in their own way. According to the report, while the events that led to the sinking were caused by the failure to stop a blowout of a well, the investigation revealed that there were numerous system deficiencies and acts and mistakes made by Transocean, as well as its Deepwater Horizon team, which had impacted the ability to limit or prevent the disaster. According to the report, the failure of a barrier of cement allowed hydrocarbons from the wellbore up through the riser onto the rig, causing the blowout. By companies and people who were in charge of drilling the Macondo well and operating the drilling platform, poor risk management and last-minute plan modifications. Also, failure to monitor and react to key indicators, insufficient well control response, and insufficient emergency bridge response led to the loss of lives and subsequent pollution of the Gulf of Mexico. Spill Response Fund. President Barack Obama met with National Incident Commanding Officer, Admiral Thad Allen, and EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson, to discuss the response to this spill. Gulf Coast Claims Facility. BP established the Gulf Coast Claims Facility on 16 June 2010 after meeting with President Obama. The fund, which is worth $20 billion, will be used to settle Deepwater Horizon claims. The fund was intended to cover natural resource damage, state and local response expenses, and compensation for individuals. It could not, however, be used for penalties or fines. BP paid emergency compensation from a first facility before the GCCF was established. Kenneth Feinberg was the administrator of the GCCF. The facility started accepting claims on 23 August 2010. Patrick Juneau, an administrator under court supervision, took over the administration of the fund on 8 March 2012. This was after BP and a group of plaintiffs' lawyers agreed to a settlement for a class action. More than 1 million individual and business claims were processed up until this point, and over $6.2 billion in compensation was paid from the fund. The Gulf states received 97% of the payments. In June 2012, the GCCF settlement program was replaced with a court-supervised settlement. During the transition period, additional claims totaling $404 million were paid. The GCCF, and its administrator Feinberg, had been criticized for the speed and amount of payments made as well as a perceived lack of transparency. The Senate approved an independent audit of GCCF announced by Attorney General Eric Holder on 21 October 2011. BDO Consulting, an auditor, found that 7,300 claims were incorrectly denied or paid insufficiently. About $64 million in additional payments were made as a result. The Mississippi Center for Justice offered pro bono help to 10,000 people in order to navigate the complicated claims process. Stephen Teague, a staff attorney with the Mississippi Center for Justice and a New York Times columnist, argued in an opinion piece that BP was increasingly brazen when it came to stonewalling payments. Tens of thousands of Gulf residents have not been compensated fully for their losses, and many are struggling just to get by. For example, many low-wage employees in the service and fishing industries have been seeking compensation since 3 years ago for lost wages.